So I was looking at this globe I have, okay? And you can see what I'm looking at. It's Greenland, right? First, I just want to say, look at what it says here. King Christian the Fourth Land. So Donald Trump is a descendant of King Christian the First. Okay? So not that he would ever come out and say, it's mine, okay? But I think he has a fair claim to it. Okay? Again, and here's Iceland, he's Norse. Okay? Like every native Norwegian or Icelander, you're likely have a small relation to Donald Trump. Yes. Again, Iceland did his genealogy, and they're experts at it because they've been around so long. Okay, so, but let's look at Greenland here. It is right at the circle of the earth. This is the circle of the earth. This is where God's throne is here. God says, I sit above the circle of the earth. This is the circle of the earth. And what's closest? That's why I think this was Eden. I think it changed, though. And I think this is where I've wondered. Because at first I'm like, I bet Greenland was once the Garden of Eden, and God has kept it in an ice age condition. Because I think especially after the flood, because if you read in Genesis, the descendants of Adam and Eve, like Cain and Abel, they were working in this land. Like, I don't know if they were here, traveling from Iceland, whatever it was, because see, it all changed once God flooded the earth. So that's why I wonder if this was way at the top, Greenland. Because if you look, not even Russia, because over here is Russia. Let me spin it around. There's nothing. See, Greenland is right there at God's throne. No other countries. Here's the Soviet Union, or Russia, I mean. There's nothing else closer to that throne than except this here. But that's not even as close. I mean, Greenland is almost practically in God's throne based on the Bible, okay? So then I wanted to show how this proves the Bible, because God sends, so after, when Adam and Eve had children, they were obviously kicked out of here, okay? But when Cain and Abel are, God is working with the descendants, Cain and Abel, and then Cain kills Abel, obviously. And then it seems like God shut this down altogether. And then when he flooded the earth, that was the one time he said he had regretted creating man. And I think after that it just became an ice age, which is why your globalists are carrying on about global warming. You have nothing to worry about. They just don't want God to be king. Well, that's just too bad. That's the reason everything's melting. Nothing can stop what's coming, as they say. Too bad the World Economic Forum doesn't want to face these facts. Anyway, so when Adam and Eve got thrown out, okay, it says that they were thrown out and they went east. Okay, so let's try to follow me here. I'm trying to do here's the east. This would be based on the Bible. It's like here, and look at what it's called here, Cape Farewell, because God put cherubims here, flaming angels, so that they couldn't return, because this was where the eternal water of life is. Okay, so if we follow this, so they went out here, and then it says they went east, okay? So then it's like, well, how did they end up in Jerusalem? Well, easily. They would have went through France, all this, okay? And here, I know I have that big piece of tape there because it's so tiny, but see right there where it says Jerusalem? That's that tiny little spot that everybody fights over. It's unbelievable. Okay, and here's Egypt. So that's where the story picks up with Exodus then. So if you follow the tape, okay, so that all makes sense with the Bible. They went east, because there is Greenland, the tip they left out of, and they went east. Went through France. I mean, I'm assuming they did obviously at some point. I mean, and then we don't really know what the earth looked like prior to the flood exactly. But I would bet, because I've thought that Eden was maybe elevated above earth, and it might have been, considering how elevated this is to begin with. But this is almost, it's in the circle, so I would imagine after it was probably once in the throne with God, where he is, because he was in the garden with them. So I think there's a bigger reason than just it's strategic, but you know, the kings of France, not France, well, just all of them over there, they need to do the right thing. Donald Trump is a descendant here. I don't think he's a classy man, even though, you know, the haters don't think he is. And he's been very kind about it. But God wants Greenland with America. So all these kings of Europe here, they need to do the right thing. Get right with God, too.